Have you ever looked around a space and thought, how did I get here? I walked into my garage the other day. The place that I had decided was going to be the answer to my space issues with my growing small business. I had decided that this was going to be the space that was supposed to handle my shipping and receiving problems. I couldn't even see the floor, you guys. And that's when it hit me. Something definitely had to change. It was time to reclaim the space, one thrifted treasure at a time. Have you ever felt this way? If so, then this is an episode that you're going to want to listen to.
Welcome to the Rescued and Upcycled podcast with weekly inspiration, tips on trying new techniques, and overall real talk about owning your own DIY business. Now here's your host, Sonnet Ullenbrock.
Hey friends, welcome back to Rescued and Upcycled. I'm Sonnet, and today we are talking all things reclaiming. And I am going to take you behind the scenes of something that's been a long time coming, reclaiming my garage. And to be honest, I started this project quite a while ago. So I have been a constant thrifter. If you guys have been following me for a bit, you will know that I love to thrift. I love to upcycle. I love rescuing things from the curb, upcycling those. And I like big things. Like, so I love furniture pieces. I love smalls. But I'm constantly doing it. And I should say I'm constantly rescuing. I need to do a lot more upcycling, you guys. But with my growing business, the upcycling has honestly kind of been put to the wayside. And my new focus, though, is I really need a space where I can have my shipping and receiving area. My home is very cozy. So many of you might know that. But yes, like I said, if you've been following me for a bit, you will know that I'm always, rescuing, upcycling, collecting, and lots of rescuing has been happening for quite a while. So, recently, though, the last few weeks, I have been rolling up my sleeves, you guys, and doing some serious digging, physically and mentally. It's been hard for me to let go of some of these items, but let's really just get into the story here. So, I have recently wrapped up my 12 Days of Whatnot series. So I do have them all out there on Facebook and YouTube. So if you want to see what Whatnot is about, I do go live in Whatnot. It is an app, or a I guess it is an app, but it is an online auction site. So I go live in there. So if you need to bid or want to bid on anything, you actually have to be in Whatnot to do that. But I do go live in both Facebook and YouTube just to let my followers know what I'm doing. And if you want to bid on any items, you can hop on over to Whatnot because there was a lot of great stuff. How it all started was each day I just went into my garage and I had several Rubbermaid containers and I would just start grabbing. Okay. At first I decided I was going to do 100 items per day. And then by chance, the very first day, I ended up with 101 items. So that was my goal every day. But I wanted to just go in there, pull out 100 items and just auction them off. And so I kept my shows to about an hour and a half. I never even got through all 100 items or 101 items. So for the ones that I did not get through, I just rolled those into the next show. And then I went back into my garage and I just pulled out another. I tried to keep it to 100 items and then I would just list them. It is actually a lot more difficult to pull items than you actually think. Because I did want to say to myself, like, do I want to keep this for a future upcycle? Or like, if I felt any attachment at the moment when I picked it up, then I kept it. But most of everything went, you guys. Honestly, like I just grabbed it and it went into the bin. So like I said, though, that was time consuming in itself. And then listing them in the show, well, they had to be cleaned up. So I had to clean them up, list them. And when you list an item, you have to take a photo. So they have to be all cleaned up. But I just grabbed everything, you guys. So from very small decor pieces to larger items or treasures that I had found, I even went into um, where I have my shipping and receiving right now. And I grabbed items from like my past retreats. So there were not only things that you could upcycle, there were things that like I had casted molds, I had spindles, I had just like random stuff where I craft items that I'm like, okay, Sonnet, just let it go. Just let it go. You can find something again in the future. And I did. So 12 days straight, hundreds of listings. And you guys, I sold over 600 items. Yes, 600 items I sold on Whatnot in the 12 days. And here's the wild part. When I went back into the garage, it barely looked like I had made a dent. I'm like, how could I have pulled that many items out of here? And it doesn't really even look like it. It did to a point. But keep in mind the area, it's a very large area that I'm trying to reclaim. And I do have furniture in there as well. So, but after the 12 days, like I said, I went back out there. I wanted to kind of regroup, clean things up, reorganize a bit of what was out there. And honestly, you guys, I am going to continue on on my Whatnot Wednesdays. I was supposed to actually do it this past Wednesday, but I am trying to get rid of or get ready for Widow's Weekend, Small Business Saturday, and I just didn't have the time. But in the future, I will be here every Wednesday. But I just have to tell you a little fun story. Here's a little insight into my husband's point of view. So I love going thrifting, you guys, and I do thrift hauls from the back of my vehicle. And my husband's like, you don't even need to go thrifting. Just go into the garage and just pull out a bunch of items and throw it in the back of your truck. No one's going to know. No one's going to know that you didn't go thrifting, Sonnet. And honestly, I don't think they would have known. After I was out there and I was digging through everything, I started finding pieces that I had completely forgotten about. I'm like, when did I pick this? Or when did I, rescue this? And I didn't even know. Some of it I could not even remember. And things that I probably had bought because I saw lots of potential. I had a plan for them. I knew exactly what I wanted to create, but they just were buried under new finds and just unfinished ideas, you guys. And something really, I guess you could say, beautiful happened in the process. I truly started to get re-inspired. I'd pick something up, and instead of feeling just overwhelmed, I started to feel that creative spark again. So as I was offloading over those 12 days, and I was at the end of the day, so I would do my sale. And after my sale, I would box everything up and I would ship it all. And as these items were going out the door and I was going back in there and, like I said, picking new items, deciding if I was going to keep them, I was truly starting to feel creative again, not overwhelmed or feeling like my shoulders were heavy. I'd go out there and I'd be like I said, overwhelmed. I would feel very overwhelmed, and it felt so good reclaiming that space, you guys. So some of the pieces I have decided to upcycle, I've actually done a few upcycles from items that I recently refound in my garage. I do have them on some past videos that I just did. And others I'm cleaning up, pricing, you're continuously pricing, and then I'm going to be listing them on Whatnot. And that's truly been my rhythm lately, you guys. Some things I'm re rescuing and upcycling, others I'm just simply releasing and giving someone else the opportunity to upcycle and resell. And I had so much fun over on Whatnot during those 12 days. The community over there has truly become part of my journey, or this journey that I'm on of, reclaiming the space. And I connected with so many amazing people. They were cheering me on, snagging some amazing vintage finds. And they, shared different stories during each of the sales. Um, but I had so much fun just going in there, grabbing items, pricing them for the next sale. And yeah, it felt so good, is really why I wanted to come on here today and talk to you guys about reclaiming spaces. I think it's so important to every once in a while take a step back, look at an area and realize that it needs to be organized and you need to reclaim it for a new purpose. And for a long time, my garage, this area was to house all of my thrifted finds. And I've realized I don't need that many thrifted finds, you guys. So I will be definitely on Whatnot a lot more to get rid of a lot. I still have a lot in there. You'd be surprised. But if you ever watch my thrift hauls, you will know I find a lot of good stuff. So I also want to mention recently I hit 1,000 followers on Whatnot and celebrate it with just a bunch of giveaways. And it just was a really fun recognition event. It just reminded me too how much joy there is in sharing these treasures, and not hoarding them all. And yes, I can say it. I don't feel like I'm a hoarder. I believe that those items were part of my inventory, but do I need them all? I do not. I do not. And the thought of going in there and taking the items and then giving them back to like Goodwill, who probably will get rid of half of them, I did not want to do that. So, that is why I decided to do Whatnot and continue to do it. Um, I also, you guys, I have to mention, I even introduced the Maker's Box to my Whatnot audience, and I would auction off 2 past boxes during every sale. And you guys, they were loving it. And I was excited too because I also had extra past boxes. So it was helping me clear out that inventory. So in the end, I was in my garage, I was in my other creative spaces and just grabbing things that, I had extras of. And this is going to be a really great way for me to offload other things. So as I'm, in my other spaces, there are items that I'm finding for future sales. So I'm going to do like a mix of some maybe like home decor, things that I've upcycled, things that you can upcycle, some different products. We'll see. I'm gonna mix it up and I'm just gonna start really having a ton of fun with my Wednesday sales. So I'm hoping you guys can join along for that. And I should also say, if you guys don't know what my Maker's Box is, it is my monthly subscription and it is so fun. If you are a DIYer, which most of you out there that are listening to this podcast are, it has so many exclusive items. So Royce from Roycycled Treasures creates 2 exclusive decoupage papers. Connie from The Painted Photographer, she creates 2 exclusive rice papers. And then I create 5 digital prints for you each and every month that you can only find in the Maker's Box. And then I curate all the colors. So you get 2 DIY paint colors, 2 fusion mineral paint colors, 1 sweet pickins, and then I also include a decoupage napkin. So you get all of that in the Maker's Box, and it is delivered to your door each and every month, ready for for you to be inspired, I do have a video that is a QR code that you can watch right away when you open up the box. And then on the box on opening, I do an unboxing each and every month. I showcase what's in the box. I also um, have the projects that I've created with it. I talk about, what inspired me, why the box was created. And then I also release my playlist for my creative team. And my creative team, they are absolutely amazing, you guys. They come up with so many fun things. I watch their videos and I'm like, why didn't I think of that? I don't know why I didn't think of it, but I didn't. So they are so stinking creative. And even if you don't get the maker's box, you guys, they have so many good ideas. I would definitely encourage going out, watching the past playlist and any future ones. And then each and every month, you guys, I do have extra spots that are open. So there's always a few people that cancel each month, and those spots get opened up. And you guys that want to get back in on it have that opportunity. So there for this upcoming box, there's I think just a couple left. So if you've always wanted to be part of the makers community and the makers box, definitely hop on in. And I will have it linked in the description below. So, now that I told you guys about the maker's box, diving back into whatnot. Now, all of this has just truly reminded me that our creative spaces are reflections of where we are in our life. So, when things get cluttered, it's usually because we're just holding on to too many past ideas or projects that just no longer serve who we are. And that's exactly it. I don't need that many things. So I do have my booth spaces and I have my YouTube channel, and I'm upcycling for both of those, but I am not upcycling at the pace I had been because other areas of my small business, like the maker's box, have taken over. And so I just need to slow down maybe my thrifting and maybe be more picky about what I'm thrifting, and realize like give myself a deadline. Like I need to upcycle it by this point. But reclaiming my space hasn't just been about cleaning up though. It's about me giving myself permission just to evolve and grow. Letting go doesn't mean I'm giving up on creativity. It means I'm making room for it to grow. And now when I walk into the garage, I don't just see piles of projects or stacked up items. I see possibilities again. So I can very quickly go in there and pick and choose what I want to grab for an upcycle and right at my fingertips. The garage isn't done yet. It's definitely a work in progress, and I have a huge vision for it. Currently, the next phase of this cleanup is clearing out the furniture. Those furniture pieces, there's big ones and there's small ones. And I really need to get those items out of my garage and into my booths. And so that is going to be something you will all see on future videos. So I'll be upcycling those items along with a lot of my smalls, but I am just so excited to finish up this huge project this coming spring. So, if you don't know, I'm in Wisconsin and the temperatures are dropping rapidly. We've hit the 30s. Today, we're at a balmy 45, and it feels like a heat wave out there because of how cold it's been. I went out there. I'm like, oh, I should do some outside stuff. But spring is when I'm going to definitely finish up the whole outside project. It is definitely too cold in the winter to be framing up walls or any like insulating or doing any of that stuff. So, once spring hits, I am definitely going to bring you guys along as I create a space for my small business. My daughter had actually said, though, instead of doing all this, why don't you just rent a warehouse? You can do all your shipping and receiving there, which, you know, that idea may seem logical to some, but for me, it just made more sense to work, reclaim that space and have that space as mine. But initially, I did take her up on that idea and I started to tumble that thought in my head. And I actually went out and I started to look for a space where I could truly remove the business from my cozy little home. But honestly, the overhead cost, ugh, I just couldn't justify those costs. I actually almost fell over when I saw how expensive it was to rent a just a warehouse, or like a small space. Like, the thought of having also to go to work every morning made it seem more like a job, I guess is a good way to put it. I just love that everything is here at my home. So I'm going to work with what I have and make it work. I just love waking up in the morning. I go to the gym every morning now and work out, and then I come home and I just have my routine. And I love that I can either go out to my studio, come into my shipping and receiving area currently, and and be right here in my home. I don't have to go somewhere and then when I'm there forget something. I just love that everything is right here, and so I'm just going to make it work. And probably save a ton of money in overhead costs. So, if you guys are feeling that your creative space feels heavy or overwhelming, maybe this is your sign to reclaim it too. Start small, one shelf, one box, one decision at a time. And you guys, you're going to be amazed at what new ideas have been waiting underneath all of that clutter. The new year is right around the corner. And in my membership group, every year we kick off an organizational challenge. And this is something that has been so motivational for all of us. It's just a fun, creative way that we all support and encourage each other in our messes. so, um, that is something that we do every single year, and we just have so much fun with it. And it is part of our goals as well for the year. One of our goals is to reclaim one of our spaces. It doesn't necessarily have to be a creative space, but just there is probably an area in your home that you may want to reclaim. Um, with that said as well, mid like I would say mid January, I am going to actually open up my membership group for the first of the year. So, if that is something that you'd want to do, it is my business membership group, and we cover so many different topics. So, be watching for that as well. I will be opening it up, and I only do this twice a year. And honestly, I'm late because I should have opened it up in October, but my retreat was so important, and I just delayed it. So I thought, why not open it up right away for the first of the year? So I will have the details also linked in the description if it's something you're interested in. So that's where I am at, guys. Still out in the garage, picking out items, and just getting a lot of inspiration now. So this journey has truly reminded me, though, that reclaiming spaces aren't about perfection. It's about permission to let things go, permission to have a fresh start, and permission to make room for whatever's next. So if your creative space feels a little too full right now, maybe this is your moment to clear out a corner and see what creativity comes rushing back in. So I am going to challenge each and every one of you to dive into a space and reclaim it. Like I said, start small, just don't get overwhelmed and have fun getting organized. I just want to thank you all for spending some time with me today. And if you want to follow along, you can come hang out with me over on my Whatnot Wednesdays or follow me on all the socials. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can find me over on Pinterest. I'm on all the socials. But Whatnot, I will be going live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. So until next time, guys, keep rescuing, keep creating, and keep upcycling. I'll see you guys all next week. All right. Bye.